So it's like if you do something for someone, then it is remembered. It's not forgotten even by God himself. So God takes all of this into consideration. And of course, there are a lot of people who do things for God. Maybe it's their conscience. Maybe it's because they believe in fate. Maybe it's because they have a form of a perception of reality, and it's all a bit blurry as to what is fate, what is karma, what goes around comes around, as you so shall you reap. All of these various concepts people have of something spiritual, and they've picked this up all along the way. They were brought up in a household or a country where they weren't even introduced to the scriptures, and should they have heard of the scriptures, they would have absorbed or taken into their mind or subconscious, even as a child, the negative connotations of the same. And so the Book of Life might have come up in conversation either on a film or you've heard of it, and the usual connotations of something negative in that if you're not in it, you're damned to hell. Well, of course, this might raise questions in people's minds as to whether they should delve in deeper and look into these things to find out just what it's all about. And of course, if you go further with it, you're going to find there's the Lamb's Book of Life and the Book of Life, and you wonder, well, what's the difference? That just seems to add to the confusion, or does it? But if you look into something, often the confusion can be unravelled. And so the point here is not to give people insecurity, but to give people more security. And one way, let's say, on a physical illustrative level of looking into this would be, upon coming here, right, we're born here, of course, and our parents, or you as parents, register your child into the local, into the registrar down there at the council offices here in England. And the child then has a birth certificate which proves he's a citizen of Great Britain, France, Germany, or whatever country he's born into. And so you have a form of citizenship. Well, God's book seems to suggest the same, and various scriptures talk about God's book, and it appears that this is, in the same sense, the Book of Life. And so this book of life, tends to come up in various chapters, in various conversations, much like it would come up here. And so in looking into it, you look into the conversations regarding where this book comes up. Well, like I say, one way of looking at it is we all, of course, came here as little babies and children. We all have our name in a registrar in different countries. Now, this can get complicated if your parents have gone abroad, let's say in China, and or your children, or whoever, someone you know, in our case, one of our children gone to China. He's married a Chinese girl. And of course, the big question is there, will the child be registered as a citizen of Great Britain or a citizen of France, of China in this case? Well, the Chinese authorities have a system there whereby the child has what's called dual citizenship up to the age of 18. And this is another way of looking at this Book of Life question, in that it's not altogether black and white. And of course, there are physical illustrations in this world of which you can use to explain many of the different aspects of the same. So this is one way of looking at it, and you can take it or leave it. Now, it's not black and white, right? So your son, he's gone to China, he's married a Chinese girl, he has a son, the son is half Chinese, half English. What country will that child be registered as being a citizen of? Well, the Chinese authorities have chosen to deal with it this way, in that the child has a form of dual citizenship, in that the child is indeed a citizen of China and he also a citizen of Great Britain, so to speak. But when the child reaches the age of 18, now that child then being grown up and having his own mind and being mature and adult enough will then be confronted with a decision. Does he wish to be a citizen of China, or does he choose to be a citizen of Great Britain? Well, this, in a sense, is one way of looking at the Book of Life and the Lamb's Book of Life, and also other aspects of the same, in that God likes to give us a choice in these great matters of choosing citizenship. Do we wish to be a citizen of this world in the course of events here, or do we wish to be a citizen of the kingdom of God? Now, Jesus explained it like this. This is another aspect of the same. Talking about citizenship of this world or citizenship of the kingdom of God. And he explained it in the way that except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So, in other words, by receiving Jesus into your life, into your heart, he being, let's say, the king of the kingdom of heaven, as opposed to the various kings we have here of this kingdom of earth. In fact, the king of this world presently in the spiritual realm, dimension, would of course be Satan. Satan is the god of this world presently. God has allowed Satan to be appointed here as God of this world. But of course, Jesus Christ is ultimately King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And all power in heaven and earth has been given into his hands. And he, in his hands, has appointed or allowed, let's say, Satan to be the king of this world. So you have the king of this world and the kingdoms of this world under Satan. And to be a citizen of this world is in black and white would be a citizen of the various countries. But if you take this further and go into it more spiritually, but by choosing citizenship here, you see how black and white this all isn't. And it's more varied when you look into it. If you choose let's say, you've been offered your decisions and your choices, there comes a time in a person's life when the Lord, when God, when Jesus Christ will come knocking the door of your heart. And you being born here, let's say in Great Britain or America or Germany, you have a form of citizenship here in that you are either British, American, German or whatever. But it doesn't stop there, because there comes a time when you become adult enough, and this again often happens when you're in even 18, around about that age, you're old enough to make decisions, and that would be largely a kind of a time period when Jesus might knock the door of your heart. It doesn't follow that it's just at the age of 18. It could happen before that, it could happen later on, whereby you get a definite calling as to whether you wish to be a citizen of the kingdom of God.